Onicha-Ugbo in Delta State still hold tightly their rich cultural heritage. This was evident when they celebrated their annual the Festival to mark the end of the farming season and to commemorate their victorious battle of liberation from the Benin Kingdom in 1750. And TVC News Ikenna Amechi tells us more about the colorful display of culture and traditions of the predominantly agrarian people.
Celebration of festivals is usually an opportunity for different tribes and ethnic groups to showcase their rich cultural heritage and also preserve their customs and beliefs by passing it from one generation to another. And here, it is the most important day in Onicha-Ugbo Kingdom, an agrarian community in Anioma North local government area of Delta State. It is the Ine Festival, a New Yam festival, which is also a time to remember how they fought to gain freedom from the Benin people. St. Pius VI Grammar School on Onicha-Ugbo, established in the year 1960, and this is the first place people of this ancient kingdom settled after leaving the Benin Kingdom in 1750.
Our festival, the one we are doing now, is showcasing what happened then. That is our Ine. We are not just doing it because we have money and you see that it's rough. People will rob poto, shooting, carrying cutlasses. That was what happened then. That's what we are commemorating. Today is the day the soldiers who fought that war will come to give account of what happened, how they fought the war, how they won, how everything happened in the war front.
This is the only day in the year that the town eases tension and people are allowed to insult their superiors. And one of the key ways of insulting your superior, especially if you have grudges, is to pour mud on the person.
The whole town is in celebratory mood as the people from far and near return to their roots to celebrate with their kids and kin in what is arguably the grandest celebration.
In few weeks' time, Obi of Onicha-Ugbo Yaka Iwaine again. It might actually fall in September, late August, September, or maybe early October. This is a yearly festival in my village. I want you to go back to this video when I made it in 2025 to watch the complete episode. But there is something I want to point out in that history. For those who are following me for the first time, my name is Chukwuemeka Kogolo. I am from Onicha-Ugbo in Anioma North local government of Delta State. Diokpale is a chime. That is why I wear this cloth. God no go shame me. You know, when I started making video, a lot of people will tell me, go to your king, go to your elders. It is what they say is the final. Small boy like you cannot change the narrative. You cannot tell the story. You listen to a live interview on national TV, TVC, documented, where my king is stating the fact, not just that we are in the Igbo, but our festival depicts the war that we fought with the Benin Kingdom. Hey! Jesus! Jesus! Make I shout up again. Hey! Coco! And some of people, they shout during this festival, Coco! Which is said that the woman who saw the Benin warriors approaching the Ezechime clan shouted, Coco! To allow the soldiers and my men, Ndi Onicha-Ugbo, ndị most jieli gbujieli, ndị full junni. Maybe you don't understand. Let me explain to you. They say my people now, people will be say when they see fight, they will refuse to eat. They take fight as a food. And this same adage is also attributed to the Integer people in Anambra State. Tell me how we are not brothers or how we are not Igbo. Ndi Fulogu Juni, the people that saw fight and refuse to eat. Until the fight is won, they will not eat. You heard it, that whatever transpire in their festival is a show and display of how our people were able to fight dirty and defeated the Benins who were sent to fight us. Now, there's a paramount question I want to ask you. Benin, they fight Benin. This is not fighting about land. This is fighting about conquering, suppressing, slavery. This is what the fight is all about. Benin, they fight Benin. If you hear two Igbo land fighting, they are not fighting to conquer each other. They are fighting to grab land. But this fight is not that Benin want to grab our land. This fight is that they want to dominate and win us and conquer us. That will tell you right from the one I've been saying it, that we are not the same. If our king is Benin, when the soldiers of Benin Empire send their entourage to come and visit him, he will not declare war. He will submit. But you can't come and be claiming people by force. Our king say, nah, you know they happen. We will resist you, we defend our territory. So when they send the message back to the Oba say, no, we need to conquer this because he thought we are small, that we are going to be people they will walk over. And then he sent soldiers and our people decimated them, beat them hands down and kill them finish. That is what transpired. And for your information, it took 4 days for the Benin Kingdom to be decimated by 1,200 soldiers by the British government. But it took 31 years for the British government to be able to conquer the Anioma people. That will tell you the strong warriors we have in Umuezechime clan. The war was fought between Ezi, Onicha-Ugbo, Onicha-Ugbo, Iseluku, Idumujuno, Idumujuboko. This is where the war was fought majorly. And 31 good years, our people withhold the British government. They have to send soldiers to back up from the Britain with higher ammunition to be able to finish our people. After 31 years, 30 years, 30 years now, don't marry born pikin. They tell una things, una things in a joke. See, I say evidence, yakpa. I'm not the one who went to interview these people, so that you will not say, I pay them, you they pay them, you don't give them money. That's why they say, this are national TV, TVC, owned by Yoruba person, came to do documentary for our festival and have to interview the kings and some elders to find out why are we doing this festival, what does it represent. This war was given a date in 1750. They give you the date of the war, the year it happened, 1750. And we are told that Benin did not conquer us, so that you come on the line and say, now Benin people conquered us. That is that. No, they did not. We know that our forefathers, there's a chief himself, ran away from there because then his clan are not big. But when he came back here and recruit, as people where they do uzu with our brothers in Oka, and uzu and make weapon. People were able to fashion weapon. This in Bezu. Why the Guji? Just do everywhere more bejiri. Mosiawa. Ndi bene babe na nye bekasiawa. That is what happened. And this is the story I want you to hear. Because very soon the festival will come. Some of you are doing this in Anyocha and Oshimili. Some of you, they do this in a car, but you don't know what it represents. This is the true story of what it represents. Remember, Onchugbo is the Jobala Ezechime, the first son of Ezechime's son. So whatsoever Onchugbo said remains. I know some people will not be saying, but this local king recently went to pay homage. Yes, I can go and pay over Benin homage. That doesn't mean that I'm truly his blood. We don't share the same DNA. We don't have the same culture. We don't have anything similar. People, they pay homage to people. That doesn't mean we're the same. But we understand why the Iselukus are trying to fight their ancestry. Mostly the palace of the king of Iseluku, because we know there are some videos I've shared here about the Igbos. Some quarters in Iseluku who are the first settlers of Iseluku land who have said they are the Igbos, they are not Benin. But we understand. Mostly comes the time where Onchugbo say, no, we are not going to allow Iseluku to be playing identity politics. There was a time Iseluku always claimed to be the head of Ezechime clan. If you still reach their signboard, their welcome gate, you see where it was written. As of that year, I was small. What Onchugbo used to write is Onchugbo Jesus Town. If you go to Onchugbo gate, you see them write Onchugbo Jesus Town. But the day Onchugbo said, no, we want to take our rightful place, these people should not be doing this. Onchugbo went and did their new gate, removed welcome to Jesus Town and put Jobala Ezechime. That period, Iseluku started thinking that if they associate themselves to the Benin, it will give them the superiority to overshadow the whole history going around here. They never knew that the 21st century, where this kind of social media will be, that people like us will come out and start telling the true story of the Anioma region. And I've told you people, time after time, I'm going to be here to bring fact and evidence. I've told you the reason why I'm motivated to make videos is because of the lies that have been told about us. And if I have to counter lies, I have to bring fact and evidence, which is a superior truth to everything we are saying. So you can't come and tell me now, say, God ask your king. Yes, my boy. God ask your elders. These are my elders, my village people. Because for this interview to be recorded like this, you would have known that the entire village believe this story. So you can't go to Onchugbo now and say, even if you see any Onchugbo man who is still living identity crisis, he's playing politics with, but he can't come to Onchugbo and say otherwise. We will question him whether he's a truly son or an imposter. This is how truthful it is. And this is how it spread to Obio, to Onicha-Ugbo, because we are the first son of Ezechime, which Onicha is a grandson according to history. However, the Obi of Onicha have also said, Obi and Ichebe, that we are not Ndi Bini, we are Ndi Igbo. He has said it in a video. It's in my page, in my Facebook, in my TikTok, and in my YouTube. You can't constantly be lying. The time they use that superiority to play politics is over. No more divide and rule. We'll be here to bring fact and evidence. We'll be hitting it on you people's head. Boy. If you don't like hog transformer, you have to accept the truth. I know it's going to be difficult for you to swallow what you have been believing for a very long time. I said it time without number. If you tell a child that your father you are living before after 30 years is not your father, it's going to find it difficult. If I bring a child, I give it to you that is listening to me. After 20 years, if I ask the child who is the father or who is the mother, he will accept that you are the one. Then when I do DNA test, show the child, say, that man that you are living with is not your father. See who your father is. He will find it difficult to believe. Even though the DNA is there, he will question the DNA, whether it's doctored, whether it's a prank, or how. Because he has lived his life with these people. And nobody have ever told him, see who is your father, or who is their mother. This is what is happening to you. Since you are born, all you have been hearing, we are not in Igbo. Including me that is telling you, my father told me I have born Igbo. But when I grew up, I make research. Because in me, I cannot live with this lie. How can I be bearing Chukwuemeka, speaking Igbo dialect, practicing Igbo culture, eating Igbo food, having Igbo tribal mark? Go do first. If I even die, they will bury me the way that they bury Igbo. Suddenly, you are telling me I'm not Igbo. Something must be wrong somewhere. That is why people like us went into research to discover that all we have been told is a fabricated fallacy, falsehood. If you go to the book written by the late Oba Benin, he said in his book that the Kweres and the Tie are typical Igbos. If the custodian can say that, so if you see an Ikwere man coming to say, we are not Igbo, that is because you have been trained with this lie for more than 20 years, 30 years. And that's why even when they bring DNA tests like that child and show you, it will be difficult for you to accept. But we are going to be here because they say reputation calls for emphasis. If you have lived with this thing with 20 years, I promise you 10 years to be online till I'm able to conquer your belief system. I'm out of here, Joe.